Welcome to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. Episode 3, What We Look For in Leadership Teams. All right, dive in here. Hi, my name is Aaron Marks, and I'm here with Jeff Ebel and Leanna Ostrowski, and they're the leadership of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and it's Central Wisconsin's only angel investing group. Jeff is the president. Leon is the chair. It's great to be with you guys. How are you today?
Just fine.
Good. Well, welcome to this episode of Angel Impact. It's the official investing podcast of the WRBA, and we explore all sorts of topics related to angel investing and economic growth, and everything that touches, which is quite extensive. And what we want to talk about today is what Jeff and Leon look for in the leadership and management teams of the companies with which they invest, because that's a crucial part of their due diligence, and it's just a really big thing that sets them apart in the angel investing world. So we're gonna talk about that today. So does one of you just want to have you offer your initial thoughts about it based on what I just said?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Jeff.
I work with entrepreneurs. I work with young startup companies, not only through Midwest Wealth Ventures, but also as an adjunct instructor at the university here, where I've been leading an entrepreneur class for about 10 years. And through that process, I've learned a lot about the entrepreneurs themselves and really what it takes to be successful. And I found that there are three things that we look for in an entrepreneur. Usually entrepreneurs, when we start working with them, they don't have a track record yet in their business. So they've just launched their business. You can't use the standard measurements to measure how successful their business is, because they generally don't have revenue. And even if they had revenue, they don't have enough of history to be able to make good judgments. So you're left with measuring their opportunity on who they are. Three things that we found that are critical, I think, for a successful entrepreneur. One is that the entrepreneur has to show that they are coachable. And it seems simple, and it seems like, well, everybody should be coachable, but we have found that very few actually are. Very few actually demonstrate that they're coachable. And when I say coachable, that means listen to other people, listen to experts and people that are there to provide advice and guidance to you. Leon and I have worked with several people that have all the answers, and why are you talking to us if you already know the answers?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we look for. Second thing we look for is self-awareness. And this is critical for any entrepreneur to know not only what their strengths are, but what their weaknesses are. And a lot of young entrepreneurs think that to admit weakness, it probably would be frowned upon. And it's actually the opposite. We are looking for entrepreneurs that understand not only their strengths, but what their weaknesses are. Because when they understand their weaknesses, they will surround themselves, they will build advisors and consultants, and they will build their board as a support organization that provides areas of expertise that they don't have. So when we interview an entrepreneur, we look for their weaknesses and how they have accounted for that in developing their business structure. And the third thing, and this is absolutely a prerequisite to be in business or to be an entrepreneur, is passion. And you have to have passion. If you're not excited about what you're doing, nobody else is going to be excited about it. So those are the three main factors that we look for in an entrepreneur that we might want to invest in.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jeff. And there's so much in there that we could pick up with, and I think what I'm realizing is that this conversation is going to be valuable not only for people who are interested in angel investing, but also entrepreneurs who are interested in angel funding, because you're listening to to a couple established angel investors say exactly what they're looking for in an entrepreneur with a young company who would want to get funding. So I would encourage entrepreneurs to listen to this just as closely. And Leon, I want to pick up on one thing that Jeff said, um, because like one of the themes that comes up over and over when we talk about angel investing is that companies don't just get capital with angel investing; they get mentors, they get advisors. They get investors who have a lot of experience in their own entrepreneurial ventures, or their own corporate leadership, who have just careers full of expertise to offer to these young and growing companies, and that's one of the ways that the companies actually get more successful. And we were just talking about the investors that have been in your different angel groups, and talking about some of the commonalities. And you said one of the things that they all have in common is that they're willing to go out of their way, almost bend over backwards, to help businesses of all kinds. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to that and the experience you have with that.
Sure, I think there's a passion that they have to want to help mankind. It sort of comes back from their background, their history. That's probably something they inherited from their families and their traditions. So it really becomes important that they're really thinking about the individual company, those people in that company, and they want to share their experiences so they don't make the same mistakes. And therefore, what happens is they end up with a higher return, they move to commercialization faster, and they have a more successful company. So it turns out that there is a vested interest and benefit to the angel investors by sharing this knowledge. So it really helps improve the portfolio return, and that's been pretty well validated by studies done by organizations.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's like an angel investor is a very special kind of person. It's someone who has not only capital to invest, but passion and expertise. And so they're looking for companies who are receptive, not only to the capital, but to the coachability, like Jeff was saying. So is there anything else either of you want to add? I think that was a really good overview of what you look for in your due diligence process.
And I would think this passion is something that maybe to keep an eye on, and that is when the chips are down, things are not going good, that they don't sort of get disenchanted with their opportunity and say, gee, I'm going to leave it. But they come back and say, hey, let's look into that and find out why that's a weakness. And some of them come back with a pivot. Some of them come back with the answers to say, wait, that's not a valid concern, and they move on. So they still got to have that excitement throughout the process, even when it's tough.
Mhm.
And I think that we would refer to that as tenacity. And I think that is also another prerequisite. They don't give up easily.
Yeah,
They're going to find solutions to the problems they have.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, and as anyone who's grown a business knows, that's a prerequisite to make it anywhere in the marketplace.
Yep.
Yeah, and especially in a lot of these really innovative, cutting edge, and competitive industries. That a lot of the companies that angels are investing in, you need that tenacity. You need that
Hmm.
stick to itiveness to solve really, really challenging problems. So,
Yeah, and what I
yes.
think here, Aaron, it comes through this is there's been some books written on this recently, that these things that are perceived to be big opportunities that, boy, they were lucky, aren't so lucky. For example, Zoom hit because of the COVID environment where people were operating from that. But that company had been in existence for several years before that, and they have found errors and problems with the current systems, and they found solutions to them. So it's really a stacking of some of the issues that they've uncovered. And then all of a sudden they say, well, we've got the most dynamic and we've got the most viable system, and the community recognizes that, and they're off and growing, and people can understand why they're growing. And it isn't just it's a one hit wonder. It's because they were observant and continue to improve upon their product and their service.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anything either of you want to add about what you look for in the companies in which you invest?
Yeah, the personality of the entrepreneur is extremely important when you don't have other measurements. There is another critical aspect that we look at, and Leon has taught me a lot in this area, and that's about market and market research and understanding who your market is and actually quantifying the size of the opportunity and the value of the opportunity that you're presenting to that market segment. So this requires a lot of research. It requires a lot of due diligence for the entrepreneur, and we can tell how thorough and detail oriented the entrepreneur is by how well they perform this function. So that's another indication of the wherewithal that the entrepreneur has based on the research that they did on the market and identifying their opportunity.
Yeah, right. So the major theme, or one of the major themes I'm picking up here is that just due to the place, or due to the point in the cycle where angel investors tend to work, you're often operating without as much information as you'd like sometimes. And so because you often don't have sales yet, you often don't have a company yet, and so you're saying, what is the information that we can gather? And that's personality traits of the leadership. It's their coachability, and then it's also the due diligence that they themselves have performed in getting to that point. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I hope this talk's been helpful for both angel investors and also any entrepreneurs who are watching this and wondering how they can get their ducks in a row when they approach angel investors for funding at those critical junctures in their business development. So I think that was a pretty good overview. Is there anything either of you wants to add that we may have missed?
Leon?
No, I just see other components that make up the opportunity that we can touch base on another time, because there are about 2 or 3 other components.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll certainly be recording again, and I'll look forward to having more great conversations on angel impact. So, well, I really enjoyed that conversation with both of you. Again, my name is Aaron Marks, and I'm here with Jeff Evil, who's the president of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and Leon Ostrowski, who is the chair. And we've been talking about what they specifically look for in a leadership team when they're evaluating a company, and whether to offer that for investment to the members of their angel group. So you can find out more about the Wisconsin River Business Angels and also Jeff and Leon at www.midwestwealthventures.com. And again, my name is Aaron Marks. This has been Angel Impact, the official investment podcast of the WRBA. Thanks so much, Jeff. Thanks so much, Leon.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. To learn more about the Wisconsin River Business Angels, visit the website at www.midwestwealthventures.com or find us on Facebook.